If you are a man looking for more energy, focus, and self-control, I have prepared a powerful ebook that will show you how semen retention can transform your life. Link in the first pinned comment. Have you ever stopped to think that maybe you were taught everything wrong about pleasure, energy, and masculinity? What if I told you that what you were told to release is precisely what the great masters preserved? Yes, I'm talking about semen retention, an ancient secret that was used by philosophers, warriors, inventors, and sages as one of the greatest keys to personal and spiritual power. Today, this knowledge is treated as taboo, but it was once considered sacred. We live in a time where instant, shallow, cheap stimulus is valued. But behind this modern addiction, there is brute force being wasted daily. A force that, when mastered, transforms your focus, your magnetism, your mental clarity, and even your connection with the creator of the universe. Does it seem exaggerated? That's exactly what men around the world have been discovering and reporting with real results. More peace, more inner light, and more prosperity in all areas of life. The problem is that no one told you the other side of the story. They only gave you the immediate satisfaction button, but they hid the map of true mastery. And it is exactly this map that you will start to discover now. Each teaching you will read below is not just information, it is an old code, reactivated, ready to reconnect you with an energy that you have always had, but never learned to use. And it all starts with a simple choice. Keep what is precious, to become precious. There is a path that few dare to take, that of conscious renunciation. When the individual chooses semen retention, he is saying to the universe, I don't want crumbs of pleasure, I want the feast of eternity. This practice is not repression, but elevation. By moving away from actions guided by desire, space is made for something greater, the encounter with the creator of the universe within oneself. And that is where true peace lives, not in passing moments, but in a state that remains unshakable. Many sages from ancient traditions knew this. Men who sought not only knowledge, but true light, one that does not fluctuate with circumstances. Therefore, celibacy and retention were more than religious vows. They were tools to dive into the inner silence, where the presence of the I Am reveals itself. By not wasting energy on ephemeral pleasures, it is recycled and transformed into internal prosperity. The same energy that could be used in a night of pleasure becomes the spark of a masterpiece, a cure, a mission accomplished. A practical example. Start with 7 days of mindfulness. No pornography, masturbation, or empty relationships. Use this energy to meditate, write about yourself, or even start a forgotten project. You will notice how your mind changes, how your heart becomes silent, and your intuition begins to speak louder. And all this without stopping living in the world, just choosing not to be a slave to it. And, of course, this is just the beginning. Because when you learn to direct this vital force, the game changes, and that's where the next point comes in, the power of attention. The secret that many ignore is the simplicity of where they place their attention. Zen masters used to say, where your attention is, there is your life. And they weren't kidding. When the focus is turned outward, we are swallowed by distraction, by anxiety, by illusion. But when that same attention is pulled inward, like lightning returning to its source, something magical happens. A living silence emerges. And with it, true peace, the one that not even 1,000 likes on social media can imitate. This is where the great sages of India and the East point the way. Turn your attention to the self, the observer. He who witnesses everything, but is not touched by anything. This observer is where the creator of the universe lives within us, always present, but often forgotten in the noise of the mind. If you are feeling anxious or lacking direction, stop for 5 minutes. Close your eyes, breathe, and ask, who is noticing all this? Just this simple practice, if done sincerely, can transform your entire day. Over time, focusing your attention becomes natural, almost like breathing. And when that happens, everything starts to fall into place. You gain clarity, your energy doesn't dissipate for nothing, and even your creativity begins to blossom like never before. Prosperity appears, not like magic, but as a direct result of a centered and clean mind. But be careful. There is still an obstacle that needs to be faced, and it has a name: desire. Desire, in and of itself, is not the problem. What eats away inside is slavery to desire. The mind, when addicted to stimulation, becomes restless like a monkey jumping from branch to branch. Especially sexual desire, this, when uncontrolled, drains vital energy like a black hole. But when a person begins to practice retention, it is as if they are pulling the handbrake on the unbridled speed of the mind. Attention frees itself and begins to obey the heart, not the body's impulses. That's where the game changes. What seemed irresistible becomes observed with discernment. The person understands that they do not need to chase every passing sensation. Men and women who practice this report more focus, more spiritual sensitivity, more mastery over themselves. The light that previously dissipated in excess begins to focus inward, revealing a peace that cannot be bought with money, but that curiously attracts true prosperity in relationships, in finances, and even in health. A simple tip to get started: create a trigger map. List everything that triggers your most automatic desires, social networks, certain content, even nighttime habits. Then, replace these moments with mindful practices: a cold shower, a walk without your cell phone, or reading something that expands your mind, like The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. This clearing of attention will prepare the ground for something even more powerful: the physical and spiritual impact that the ancients already knew very well. What I'm explaining here is much more detailed in my ebook, The Power of Semen Retention. There is a simple step-by-step guide for you to apply in your everyday life. It's really worth it. In Taoist and Tantric traditions, semen is not seen as something banal, but as a sacred elixir, a concentrate of life, energy, and wisdom. When a man retains this substance, he is not just avoiding physical wear and tear, he is feeding his own brain with phosphorus, zinc, and other elements that increase mental clarity. This is why, after weeks of retention, many report insights, off-the-charts creativity, and a sense of inner light that seems to never end. These ancient masters knew that the body is an alchemical laboratory. And semen, in this context, is the base ingredient in the longevity formula. A practitioner who respects this process not only feels more energy, but also notices their intuition emerging. Prosperity begins to manifest itself because the mind is clear, the body is strong, and the spirit is alert. It's as if life began to cooperate with those who decided to cooperate with themselves. Want a practical example? Start including foods rich in zinc and phosphorus in your routine: pumpkin seeds, chickpeas, pure cocoa, Brazil nuts. And avoid things that drain your vitality, such as refined sugar and excessive alcoholic beverages. Combine this with retention and notice the difference in 30 days. You will no longer need artificial stimuli to feel good, because the source of peace will be bubbling inside you. And when that fountain starts to rise, something even deeper starts to happen. In Eastern traditions, this energy that many treat with disregard has a name: Jing, the vital essence. When semen is preserved, it transforms into qi or prana, the force that circulates through the subtle channels of the body. This energy, instead of being wasted on instinct, begins to rise, activating the chakras, especially the root chakra. It is there, at the densest point of the energetic body, that the journey begins. The climb is slow but powerful, and each level reached brings more light, more self-awareness, more peace. Have you ever noticed how some masters, even in silence, emanate something magnetic? That is not chance, it is refined energy. Energy that has been transformed over time by practices such as retention, conscious breathing, and meditation in energy centers. When qi rises and chakras align, everything changes. You begin to feel an internal prosperity that does not depend on status, but on connection. And it is this connection that makes a person become a channel of the Creator of the universe on Earth. Do you want to activate this in your daily life? Start with simple practices. Sit with your spine straight, breathe deeply, and visualize the energy rising from the base of your spine to the top of your head. Do this for 5 minutes when you wake up. Add mantras like LAM, root chakra, and explore the others. This practice, done consistently, prepares the ground for something even more powerful: the rise of Kundalini energy. Kundalini energy is like a sleeping snake, coiled at the base of the spine, waiting just for the right moment to awaken. When semen retention is maintained with discipline and intention, this force begins to rise, breaking energetic blockages and activating each vital center along the way. At each stage, more awareness, more sensitivity, and more presence. The mind quiets, the body vibrates differently, and the feeling of peace expands from the inside out. This awakening is not just spiritual, it is also biological, emotional, and existential. When Kundalini reaches the crown chakra at the top of the head, Many report mystical experiences of unity with the creator of the universe. It's as if the ego melts and everything makes sense at once. In this state, duality disappears and what remains is light, pure, silent, alive. An energy that heals, directs, and transforms, including the way you relate to the world. Do you want to speed up this process wisely? Practice perineum contraction during meditations, known as mula bandha. Keep your spine straight and use deep breathing as a lifting tool. This creates a natural pump that helps boost energy upward. Combine this with semen retention and you become a living antenna of prosperity and spiritual clarity. Now, imagine what happens when this inner strength meets the knowledge of the great masters of history. The great geniuses of humanity knew something that today has been forgotten or hidden. Pythagoras avoided sexual pleasures because he knew that the same energy that generates life can generate genius. Leonardo da Vinci said that retention increased your ability to concentrate and be creative. And Newton, in the midst of his alchemical investigations and laws of the universe, also practiced self-control as a way of connecting with the creator of the universe. They were not just scholars, they were alchemists of their own bodies. For these men, semen was a sacred substance, a raw material for internal transformation. They understood that by transmuting this energy into creation, they were practicing true alchemy. This was what the gold of the wise was about, an inner light that could be cultivated and directed towards works that would span centuries. Withholding, they did not repress. They channeled. And the peace that this brought was reflected in his works, his deeds, his presence in the world. If you want to apply this, start small. On days of increased energy, instead of giving in to the urge, take a pen and paper and write. No matter what, just create. Paint, assemble, invent, organize, move. The energy of retention calls for direction. When it finds purpose, true prosperity is born. Not the one that ends at the end of the month, but the one that spans generations. And this creative impulse also has a direct effect where you least expect it, on your own brain chemistry. When the body realizes that semen is being retained, it doesn't panic, it adapts. The brain begins to produce more neurotransmitters, such as dopamine and serotonin, which increase motivation, creativity, and good mood. It is as if the organism, in an effort to compensate for the absence of ejaculation, became more efficient. And that's when you start to notice something curious. People notice. Your magnetism increases. The attraction you emanate isn't just visual, it's vibrational. It is light in the form of presence. It's not mysticism, it's biology. The phosphorus and zinc present in semen nourish the brain and activate areas related to concentration and memory. And when this energy is recycled rather than discarded, your body sends unconscious signals of vitality. It's like saying to the world, hey, here's someone with energy, focus, and inner peace. And this, naturally, attracts opportunities, people, ideas, prosperity. Retention puts you on another level, even in business and social interactions. Want to feel it for yourself? Try a 21-day retention cycle with a focus on creation. Write an article, learn something new, create content, or start a personal project. Notice how your mental clarity improves and how the people around you react differently. The look changes, the tone of voice changes, the energy changes. And when you least expect it, you start to reap the rewards, and many of them come at a stage in life that many people underestimate. There comes a point in life when a man begins to realize that chasing pleasure does not fill the void. It is there that many, between 40 and 50 years old, awaken. They've already lived, they've already made mistakes, they've already looked outside, and now they want something solid. Many report that by redirecting sexual energy towards self-knowledge and purpose, life truly begins to prosper. Semen retention comes as a game changer. Peace, which was once just an idea, now becomes a concrete experience. At this stage, energy is no longer wasted on empty relationships, but channeled into goals, studies, investments, and legacy. A real example. Men like David Deida, author of The Way of the Superior Man, teach that true virility lies in mastering your energy, not in being dominated by it. This is worth its weight in gold, literally. Many who apply this wisdom report business breakthroughs, deep relationships, and a sense of being aligned with the creator of the universe. And if you're not yet 40, even better. It means you can start sooner. But even if you're already at this stage, know, it's never too late to change the game. Prosperity is not a question of age, it is a question of focus. And by focusing on what matters, everything changes, even the biggest challenges. And speaking of challenges, the next point is one of the most delicate on this journey. Let's face it, semen retention isn't easy. Especially in a world where stimulation is everywhere. Social networks, series, advertisements, everything seems like a trap in disguise. That's why the NoFap movement emerged, back in 2011. It's not just about stopping masturbating, it's about taking back control. It's about looking in the mirror and saying, "I'm the one in charge here." This movement became a compass for many who were looking for more focus, more energy, and less dispersion. And it has worked. Very. Within NoFap, there are entire communities supporting each other. People of all ages, cultures, and beliefs, united by one purpose: to recover the light that has been drained by years of compulsion. What was once an automatic habit becomes a conscious choice. And that, in itself, already generates an internal peace that no one understands from the outside, but those who feel it know. Some apply techniques such as hard mode, no pornography, masturbation, or sex. Others go for reboot mode, prioritizing balance. If you want to join this journey, look for tools like the NoFap app, participate in forums like Reddit/r/NoFap, or use a simple calendar to record your days. Set goals, celebrate small victories, and, if you slip up, start over without guilt. The important thing is to follow. Because the longer you sustain this strength, the more prosperity manifests itself, and the impulse that seemed difficult to control over time becomes fuel for something even greater. Something like the thrust of a rocket. The beginning is always the hardest. It's like launching a rocket. The engine burns more fuel in the first few minutes than in the entire trip. With semen retention, the first few days are a battle. The mind screams, the body demands, old habits try to return. But if you stand firm, the moment comes when everything changes. The turbulence passes and the steady ascent begins. That's when peace settles in and energy flows without resistance, as if the creator of the universe said, "Now we are going far." This stage is powerful. Focus increases, the mind becomes sharper, and the body becomes stronger. It's not an exaggeration. Many report more disposition, better posture, more personal magnetism, and even more professional success. What was previously spent on quick pleasures now becomes fuel for real goals. The light that was previously lost in impulse begins to shine in the eyes, in words, in attitudes. The person becomes more centered, more intuitive, more productive. And this only tends to grow, like a rocket that breaks the atmosphere and enters orbit. But be careful, the rocket doesn't fly to stay still. He flies because he has a destination. And retention isn't the end, it's the beginning. The beginning of a journey of prosperity that goes far beyond the physical. Because when this energy is under your command, you can direct it towards absolutely anything. And now that you understand the power of this fuel, perhaps you're ready to know what the ancients knew, the secrets that have spanned the centuries and still transform lives today. Now that you've discovered the ancient secrets of semen retention, the question is, what are you going to do with this knowledge? Will you let this energy continue to flow through your fingers, or will you finally take control of your life force? The choice is yours alone. But understand one thing, whoever masters this energy no longer needs to chase life, life starts chasing him. The peace that you seek, the light that is missing, and the prosperity that seems distant, all of this is hidden in this practice that almost no one has the courage to follow. So, will you be another one who repeats the cycle of compulsion, or will you become the man who breaks the pattern and awakens the inner master? Because the truth is that most people live as slaves to their impulses, but few free themselves to live their purpose. And it is precisely this minority that the world listens to, respects, and follows. The creator of the universe does not hand over power to those who do not know how to preserve it. He hands it over to those who take responsibility. So tell me, are you ready to really change your life? If so, like this video, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because here you will continue learning how to awaken your true potential and master the energy that transforms. And don't forget, share this content with those who need it. There are many men out there lost without knowing the power they have in their hands. Don't leave it for later. Click on the first pinned comment, purchase the ebook, and start changing your energy, your mind, and your life today.